What's up, guys? It's Alex, and today we're going to be looking at Apple's Magic Keyboard. So I had a couple of requests to review this keyboard, but I've been waiting on it. I've been waiting on it because I wanted to do a long-term review. 3 months, if you can consider that long-term. And one of the main reasons why was it's a $300 or $350 Magic Keyboard, meaning Apple is not necessarily making this a cheap accessory, and I wanted to see if it was worth justifying the $350, throwing the money out, and going out and getting one of these. So my first impressions of this guy were a bit interesting. I actually found that the keyboard is using that same rubberish material that the Smart Folios used to use, and I wasn't a huge fan of that. The actual material would wear down pretty easily, especially with Apple uses a lot of these like rubberish silicone cases that kind of wear down over time. Now, the Magic Keyboard has been able to hold up to wear and tear for the past 3 months. There hasn't been a lot of issues that I've seen, especially online, and it's held up pretty well. Now let's go into how this keyboard actually works. So if you didn't already realize, Apple is not literally using magic on this keyboard. What's going on is they're using a backplate that encases a bunch of magnets. So these magnets allow the iPad to essentially just pop in and pop out. And there's 3 power pins. So these 3 power pins allow for USB-C power to pass through. Now, there's also a hinge, which is the main star of this entire keyboard. This hinge is essentially just a metal rod that houses the USB-C pass-through, and it locks to all the different angles and allows you to adjust the iPad depending on the position you want. So, since this backplate is being held by this hinge, it allows the iPad to get that floating look that everyone was going crazy about. And another thing too, this hinge is really well made, and when I tell you that, it's like really solid, and it's expected from Apple. The sheer weight of this entire keyboard case is literally heavier than the entire iPad, so you're essentially doubling the weight when you pop an iPad on this, and the weight is what keeps the iPad balanced. Now, Apple had to make it heavy to basically make it a counterbalance so that this guy is literally not just flopping over every 5 seconds. The only thing that I consider to be somewhat of a hassle occasionally is when you're actually opening it up. And what I mean by that is that there's no dedicated lip like you'd normally find on a laptop, so getting your finger to separate the two was a little bit tedious sometimes. Also, the rubber weighted base allows you to do laptop style typing. And what I mean by that is that you can type on your legs. It's not perfectly balanced and it does wobble when you're typing, but it's still comfortable enough to use. However, the first time I did use it, I felt sometimes like the tablet was literally gonna fall backwards, but you'll get used to it. It's a little bit tedious sometimes. And speaking about the actual keyboard and typing experience, it's good. You'd expect it to be good for $350, but it's really good. Like by far the best Bluetooth keyboard for the iPad Pro. It's got scissor switches that are great. They have nice travel. They're not the awful butterfly switches. And you also get a trackpad paired with the keyboard. Now, the reason why this trackpad is so good today is because what iPadOS has done with it. It has completely changed the way I use the iPad, and what I mean by that is I don't really use the touchscreen as much anymore, and fingerprints and smudges and all these different things were such a pain that having a trackpad to just use on the screen is so much easier. And the trackpad itself isn't really large, but with iPadOS's kind of hybrid cursor that you've got going on, I never found that I was running out of trackpad space. There is a bit of a learning curve when it comes to using iPadOS's shortcuts with a keyboard and a trackpad. You do have to get used to it. Apple does have some guides scattered within the settings that you can find to use these shortcuts. iPadOS does have its wonks still, and can be a bit strange, but trackpad support has gotten so much better. I remember a couple months ago, I did a video on iPadOS and using a keyboard or mouse support for the first time, and it was pretty awful. It's getting a lot better. Like seriously a lot better, where it just kind of works like this hybrid cursor that Apple's been developing. And here's another thing, the trackpad actually clicks like a physical button, and it's uniform throughout the entire pad. All the corners click evenly. It's not kind of a haptic engine that allows it to click. And the backlight on this keyboard also works well. Now, the backlight brightness is just adjusted by the actual iPad sensors. However, if you want to manually adjust the brightness, it's a little bit ridiculous. These settings are buried so deep that the average person that sets a Magic Keyboard is not necessarily going to know where to adjust their brightness if they want to do manual brightness. You literally need a map to get there. I'm not even joking. You have to go to Settings, General, Keyboard, Keyboard Hardware, and then you are finally granted the ability to adjust your brightness. But aside from that, let's talk viewing angles. So viewing angles are another feature of this case. So you can adjust the iPad, whether you want to have it on a lap or on a table, the hinge can easily be adjusted. And something else you need to remember is this keyboard is essentially a case. Now, it'll protect your iPad, not like a rubber hard case, but it does protect it. It's not a full-fledged bumper case. It's gonna protect from the average nick, and it does add an extra layer of protection to your expensive computer slab. Apple doesn't wanna call it a computer, but it's kind of computer, guys. But I've always liked to rock a skin on my devices because there's always tons of sweet options out there and they don't necessarily interfere with the magnets. So rock a skin if you want. This keyboard is making this the most legit computer alternative that it's capable of being right now. And when I say that, it's still not for everyone. And what I mean by that is for people that are already devoted to the iPad Pro, this is gonna make a great partner device. But this still won't necessarily solve all the problems that laptop users have complained about with the iPad Pro. And some people just can't justify a package like this. What I mean by that is that there's no function row, so no escape key, brightness, volume, backlight control on the keyboard itself. And iPadOS is a great alternative, but not necessarily a replacement to macOS or Windows. So take it for what you want. It's a good accessory. If you've got the money and you want to get an awesome addition to your iPad Pro, I'd say go for it. It's a great keyboard. And I personally love the iPad Pro, as always. However, is it replacing the PC in the back? Not yet. Maybe in the future. Right now, not yet. And I've said this before. But this entire package is awesome. 120 Hertz, 13 inches of display, or 11 if you want a smaller one. And you get this awesome keyboard, this awesome trackpad, and a whole package that kind of just closes up and you can take it on the go anywhere. So take it for what you want, guys. It's been Alex. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.